Oh, that reminds me, since you said that, funny thing that was overheard with Sally Shattuck saying to her friend, talking to her friend Kelly. Funny thing, overheard was they were laughing about somebody, an adult, an old like me, who thought WTF meant Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's good, huh?
I like it. Do we know that the adult really thought that, though, or did they just say it to the kids?
I don't know. I like to think that the adult
Didn't know.
didn't. Yeah.
I mean, that's been around for a while, though, I feel like.
Yeah. Plus the context. I'm like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Why would somebody say that when they're mean, when they're showing like this weird exasperation or curiosity? Anyway, I guess we can. I am so bored by the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's actually, I think it's the grossest of all of anything.
Do they still even hashtag it Nerd Prom?
No, I don't think so.
Do you remember when
that.
they used to do that?
I remember I used to hear never-ending exposés about Nerd Prom on NPR. It was like the biggest whorish...
I know, navel-gazing, ridiculous thing.
God.
Like, we weren't cool in high school, guys, but now this is our chance to dress up and be important.
And the self-importance of the whole thing is just, it's gross. And the walking around with celebrities. And look, we get to have celebrities around us. We're very important. This is our black tie dinner. And it's just...
It is funny looking back and thinking that they refused to even do it during Trump because they were like too upset and didn't want to legitimize him.
Well, but they would tell you the reason they didn't do it during Trump is that at that time there was nothing to laugh about because our very democracy was under attack.
Oh, right.
So here's the sound of Chrissy Teigen, who I believe you can see everything, wearing some. Oh my goodness! I'm going to shock everybody now that they with John Legend, heading into the thing, and. That's another thing. Oh, I'm going to shock everybody. Oh, God.
Stand with us! Hey, excuse me.
Those are protesters. Yada, yada, yada. Here's this guy. I don't even know who this. Roy Wood Jr. He's a comedian. He was the comedian.
I think he's like really woke. He wants reparations.
A billionaire named Harlan Crow is flying Clarence Thomas. A lot of black people wouldn't mind some of that erasure as long as that black person is Clarence Thomas. A billionaire named Harlan Crow is flying Clarence Thomas all over the world on unreported trips like an Instagram model, taking Clarence to the Maldives and the beaches and all. Paid for his mama's house, this billionaire. Paid for Clarence Thomas' mama's house.
No, he bought it.
I gotta give it up to billionaires.
He bought it from the Clarence Thomas family at a fair market value.
Right, and it's to make
and
it
a
part
bunch
of the
of them
Clarence
owned
Thomas
it.
historic museum thing. It's just this.
The whole thing is so absurd with the Harlan Crow stuff, and it's like one of these things where they keep saying stuff that doesn't mean anything in hopes that they can like make it seem like something's going on by making it sound like something bad happened.
Right.
When really it's just rich conservative people hanging out together.
Well, right.
It's like this dude is a big, by the way, like conventional conservative. He's like a Liz Cheney donor, right? And he's flying Clarence Thomas around because they hang out because he's a billionaire and he's obsessed with conservative politics and he's into that. And like, it's not like he had a case in front of Clarence Thomas or something. And it's like a whole thing. They're now digging through everything with every conservative justice because they're on this big push now to declare the whole Supreme Court illegitimate. This is like their little hobby horse that they're into. And saying that a bunch of the justices were appointed by presidents who didn't win the popular vote hasn't really panned out because, well, that's like not how we elect presidents in the United States. So like it's okay that they weren't elected by winning the popular vote. So they still get to appoint Supreme Court justices, so there's nothing to see here. And then, you know, they're trying to say like, well, Trump was an illegitimate president because Russia bought some Facebook ads in 2016, so he's not. So he doesn't get to appoint Supreme Court justices.
He doesn't get to have fun, and we're not. Gonna...
you know, or the Merrick Garlands, which, like, thank God Merrick Garland's not on the Supreme Court. Can you imagine what a piece of crud he's turned out to be?
Oh my goodness!
With the stuff like the going after parents at the school committee meetings, and like he's the worst. He's like the anti-civil liberties guy. Lefties used to be into civil liberties, and he's like it's unbelievable that the ACLU would want this dude anywhere near the Supreme Court.
He is.
The ACLU has changed a lot. Let's just say.
Yes. It's, the ACLU might as well be the SPLC.
But it's funny because they're really on this push now, like the Clarence Thomas thing. They've been trying to say stuff about Roberts and his wife too. I think it's Roberts. Is that the other one that they're going after?
Are they
trying to say that there's like
Kavanaugh,
so,
they're trying to kill.
Well, Roberts, I think it's Roberts. So like his wife is also a big lawyer, legal person. And one of her jobs that she does as a job is she pairs job seekers with big law firms. Okay, so she like helps recruit people from top law schools into big law firms to be hired as associate attorneys or whatever. And so then they pay her for this service of hiring people. And the left's contention is that Roberts should recuse himself from every case that's in which a law firm is involved for which his wife has ever helped them hire somebody. Which like is like all the top law firms in the country, because she's doing a service for them as her job. So he should just recuse himself for every case, even if no lawyer that his wife knows is even involved, or like she knows anybody who's involved in arguing the case. Like just because the law firm has worked with his wife, who's also a lawyer, to hire other lawyers, like it's like an insane contention. Like, but they frame it. They write these articles. They're like, the Chief Justice did not recuse himself from cases involving a client of his wife's that paid her like, you know,
Sally,
$10,000 or
something.
Can you let
Pepper out, please? She's whining. Thank you.
Why would he recuse himself from a case because a law firm is involved in arguing it? Like, there's no reason why he ever would. It's not a thing. Like, but they're trying to do this with all the justices now. They're digging through everything, and because the legal world is super interconnected and like everybody's worked for everybody and dealt with everybody, it's like, of course. I mean, like a bunch of them worked for places that then come before the Supreme Court and argue cases, right? Like a bunch of the justices have argued cases before the Supreme Court when they were lawyers working for places that then come argue new arguments before the Supreme Court. Obviously, I mean, like, and they're conservative justices. What do you want? They hang out with other conservatives who then argue conservative cases, and they agree with that. Like, what is the point of the contention? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes no sense at all. Like, obviously. Duh.
Oh, no, absolutely.
And there's no, like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg also argued cases in front of the Supreme Court, and she worked with law firms and organizations that argued cases in front of the Supreme Court that then came back and argued more cases in front of the Supreme Court. Like, there's no argument there. It's the dumbest thing to say. But they frame it like there's something nefarious going on, so that then Liz Warren and all these idiots can run around and say that it's like a completely illegitimate Supreme Court and never in our history, and we need to pack the court, and we need to X, Y, Z.
That's what this is all about. It's just simply packing the court. If they can't scare them and intimidate them into leaving, saying this is unprecedented and the conflict of interest, then,
or scare Congress into impeaching them for nothing.
Right, and that's precisely what this is. They just, I mean, people can't. With the left, you're either in control or being victimized.
Right. Either something really, really unfair and unprecedented is happening, or you run everything.
Right.
Like, those are the only two choices. And probably whatever happened to you is also racist, too, and fascist, and everything else.
Yeah. But back to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, it used to be that the person would get in there and blow everybody up.
Right.
And like, never be invited back. If you like, you knew you had a good one when they were disinvited and the White House Correspondents Association was was putting out a condemnation letter. Like, Imus went there during Clinton. Clinton was a fun target for obvious reasons.
Right.
And so Imus went there and blew up Clinton. And then they brought in the great Norm Macdonald. I don't know what they were thinking there either in 1997.
I've been sightseeing, you know, and in fact, I stopped at a museum. This is probably interesting to you guys. They have this news museum now. Have you seen this? It's a museum that's dedicated to broadcast journalism, and they have all sorts of, you know, tributes to Edward R. Murrow and such, you know, and they have this one fascinating place. It's a kind of an interactive display, and visitors, what they can do is they can appear on camera and pretend that they are real journalists, you know. So far, it's been visited 20 times by Matt Lauer, but... See?
How protective? How dare he pick on Matt Lauer, man of impeccable moral pillars.
I guess he's a legend, too. I didn't know. You got Murrow, Severide, Edwards, and Lauer. All right.
You hear the press then? Like, oh, my goodness, that was mean-spirited.
I know.
And also today I took a visit to the White House. For any of you who haven't taken a visit to the White House, unbelievable. So, you know, awe-inspiring and, you know, a lot of rich in history, so beautiful, you know. Although I did notice a kind of an odd sign on the president's desk. It said, the yen stops here. Have you seen it? What the hell's that mean?
Another prescient one, huh?
I guess so. Jeez.
The yen? I thought it was the buck stops here, I'd always heard.
See, in bad taste. But Clinton did have a nice relationship with the Chinese.
You know, of course, they say the White House is haunted. Did you know that? And I thought this was kind of sad. I heard last night that President Clinton charged Abraham Lincoln's ghost $10,000 to sleep in his own bed. So that
was a scandal at the time,
that doesn't seem right to me, you know? I mean... But look, the president, you know, has come under a lot of fire for raising money, but you know, he's good at it. He's good at raising money. That's not a bad thing. Every president's done it. It's just that President Clinton is very, very, very good at it. Do you know he has organized in the past year over 100 fundraising dinners and over 200 fundraising midnight snacks? Did you know that? Is he laughing? Is he... No, but Mr. President, seriously, you know, I know you've had to work through a lot of distractions in doing the business of running this country, and I just want to say, you know, that I implore you, stay focused and do the job, and try to remember, you know, that Rome was not built in a day, you know. I mean, just ask Strom Thurmond, he'll tell you. It was not built in a day.
There you go. A classic yuck. There is a great line he has about Ted Kennedy that I think is...
What's the matter, Pepper?
That is great. Let me see if I can find it.
Did they let her out?
Sally, did you let Pepper out? Okay, throw a piece of food. There's an old burger in the fridge. Throw a piece of food out and she'll chase it. Let her smell it first, okay?
The classic dog wants to go out but doesn't want to go out in the rain.
Okay, Sally? Okay. Go, Pepper. Okay.
Just the other day, there's a rumor that last week, a certain, I don't want to say who it is, a certain gentleman in ABC News, he went to a party and he got really drunk and he ended up having sex with his own wife. I don't know. I don't know how these rumors get started, but you know, it's probably just a vicious rumor, really, you know. But as Mr. Arledge knows, of course, TV has become a very tough game. You got to stay competitive, you know. As we all know, ABC's Good Morning America is in a little turmoil, you know, a little trouble, a little rating trouble. And they're considering a lot of ways now, you know, to boost the ratings. And I don't know, I think they're getting a little desperate. I heard that next week Charles Gibson will announce he's a lesbian. I mean, is that...
Talk about pressure.
I know, that
Man.
one is
All right, we can move on from that. Oh, yeah, okay. So I want to get to today. Vivek Ramaswamy was on with Chuck Todd. And I got to say, I know some people think Vivek is too slick. And he might be slick. And he comes from the hedge fund world. He
also gets accused of, like, being a sort of a spoiler for Trump to kind of just wreck DeSantis. Like, there's been a lot of, I don't know, the comment I was seeing about him today was, like, that he's being a Chris Christie. Remember when Chris Christie kneecapped Marco Rubio in the middle of the debate and just, like, wrecked him for Trump? And, like, it was pointless because then he knelt down to Trump later. And he's doing the same thing again, by the way. He's saying he's going to run for president, which, that side note, like, why? Why do all these people want to run for president so bad? But anyway, so that's what Vivek is getting accused of, basically, is like tearing into Ron DeSantis to help Trump, basically.
Right, or just a VP wink.
Trans movement has become a cult. We need to abandon climate religion in America. I definitely find the idea of systemic racism revolting. I say this, how do you square those statements with unification? These are divisive times. This is a polarizing time. We're pretty evenly divided on these cultural issues. How do you unite the country when you're essentially denigrating the views of half of the country?
I don't think I'm denigrating the views of half the country. I mean, let's take the touchiest of those subjects right now on the trans issue. I think that when a kid says that I'm born into the wrong body, that my gender doesn't match my biological sex, more often than not, that is a case of a mental health disorder. That doesn't mean you disrespect that person. It means they're crying out for help. I met with two young women who regret the decisions they made, going through double mastectomies, one a hysterectomy, chemical intervention, now trying to teach kids across the country that when you're struggling inside, going through adolescence, yes, that involves some struggle. We live in a cultural moment today where adults are affirming that confusion rather than actually treating them compassionately. That's cruelty.
You ever talk to parents that have a kid who's going through this?
I have, actually. Yeah, and I think
it's a parent. My point is
it's a difficult place to be. I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But what we need to do on both sides here is act with compassion, not really what makes us feel good about ourselves. Yeah. And I think that's my main issue across our response to transgenderism and to climate. It's solving the actual underlying issues rather than what allows you to signal your virtue.
What makes it compassionate, though, to pass a law that denies a parent making their own healthcare decision for their kid? That's the part of this. That doesn't sound very conservative.
Because it's cutting off the breasts.
There's a lot of medical decisions that we don't let parents and kids make together because they're considered to be really, like, dangerous, bad things. Among other things, I mean, like, you don't get to decide if you qualify for, like, organ donation, organ transplants. Typically there's, like, lists of reasons why you could qualify or not qualify. Like, there's all kinds of reasons certain procedures are allowed for people or not allowed for people. Medical procedures are extremely heavily regulated.
You sound like my buddy Vivek.
And small government to me.
Well, look, there isn't a state in this union that allows you to smoke an addictive cigarette before the age of 18, that allows you to get a tattoo before the age of 18. That's a body-altering change that a kid may later regret in life. So I think it is perfectly reasonable to say that if you're after 18 years old, you're free to decide whatever you want to do. That's what it means to live in a free country. But below the age of 18, I think it's perfectly legitimate to say that we won't allow genital mutilation or chemical castration through puberty blockers for the purpose of gender transition.
But how do you know it's that? Again, how do you know? Are you confident that you know that gender is as binary as you're describing it? Are you confident that it isn't a spectrum?
I am.
You know this as a scientist?
Well, there's two X chromosomes if you're a woman, an X and a Y. That means you're a man.
There's a lot of scientific research out there. There's a lot of scientific research out there that says gender is a spectrum.
Chuck, I respectfully disagree. Gender dysphoria for most of our history, all the way through the DSM-5, has been characterized as a mental health disorder. And I don't think it's compassionate to affirm that. I think that's cruelty. When a kid is crying out for help, what they're asking for is, you got to ask the question of what else is going wrong at home? What else is going wrong at school? Let's be compassionate and get to the heart of that, rather than playing this game as though we're actually changing our medical understanding for the last 100 years.
I go back to this. If a parent is dealing with a child that has these, that may have these issues, trust me, the last thing they want to do is consider something like this. But if that is what they think could help their child pursue happiness or they're not to kill themselves, why take away that option? Again, why shouldn't it be up to the parent?
So part of why parents now suddenly feel that way, let's ask ourselves that, Chuck, is we've created a culture that teaches parents that they're being bigoted or that they're bad people if they don't actually take those steps. So part of what I think is, listen, gender dysphoria, for the rare few people who have suffered it, is a condition of suffering. My question is, why on earth are we going out of our way to create even more of it? And there's no doubt that the cultural movement in this country, even education, is creating more gender dysphoria. If it's a condition of suffering, let's not create more of it. That's what we're doing.
Let me ask you about the Disney dust-off.
Okay,
it is interesting because...
Sorry, I've lost it.
With pushing back.
Go ahead.
It is interesting because it's fascinating to see. And, like, I honestly credit in a big way Tucker with this, because Trump was not going to push the trans issues or the gay issues. Like, he doesn't care about that at all. Trump doesn't.
Sally.
But
how'd that work? Good girl.
But the fact that we're having this conversation and that there are multiple Republican candidates for president who are saying this stuff, multiple governors of states saying this stuff, talking about it, shows how much things have changed since 2016 when Trump was elected, because no one was talking about this in 2016. No one was. And I mean, the left has obviously pushed this issue in a big way, but I don't think people on the right realized until very recently, until the last few years, how serious an issue this is and how extreme the left has become on this issue. And it's taken people like libs of TikTok, like Tucker Carlson, exposing what these people are actually saying about what they believe needs to happen to children who are going through this. And, you know, the fact that the right has, like, unified on this issue and is saying this stuff when, I mean, the right had completely given up on the culture war after the gay marriage thing. Right. It was basically the right. I mean, and even before the gay marriage thing, it basically had become like an issue where the right just said, you know, okay, fine, you win. Where you are now is where we'll be 5 years from now. And that's not what has happened on this trans stuff. In fact, I think it's made Republicans question a lot of, and normal people too, not like political people. It's made a lot of regular people kind of question how harmless and live and let live the whole LGBTQIA plus movement and how harmless it all was to start with, right?
Well,
like, I
think that as soon as it went past LGB.
Well, right, but I mean, I think there was a lot less questioning even of like a pride parade or something a few years ago. And there's always been raunchy stuff at pride parades.
Yeah, of course.
That's not new. But, you know, I think that there's been a realization that there really is a slippery slope, that this really is real, that the left had said, like, no, consenting adults in their own homes. What business is it of yours? If you don't like it, don't get gay married. Like, you know, there was kind of this whole push. And, you know, the right had really kind of said, like, okay, fine, you get this one. And I think what has happened is that there's been a realization now on the right that really it does open the door to so much more stuff, that there really is a slippery slope and it really does involve kids, and that, you know, that this isn't just some anomaly straw man that crazy Christian conservatives came up with. This is real stuff that the left is trying to do, was always trying to do, and they did move right from gay marriage onto the next stuff. And they'll move right from the trans stuff onto the next things after that, which I assume is going to be pedophilia. I think most people think that that's in the cards with this movement, right? So I think that, you know...
It is, but I do think that it's worth saying that I think that there are many people, probably the majority, I think the majority of those informed, anyway, of LGB who are saying hold the freaking phone. I think more
Yeah,
people
but
are
I
saying
think
wait a second. I mean, not even the pedophilia. I think by far the
with
majority
oh
don't want
yeah,
anything to do with pedophilia.
oh yeah, but I think the
But I think that they're
activists
looking
that
and saying, wait a second, with the twerking in front of kids, like why are kids involved in this? And I think if you're the LGB, especially the people who saw
then
the
you're
bleep,
upset
who've
that
been
this
through a lot,
is
yeah, you're like, man, what are you doing to this?
what are you
movement
doing to our progress right
Right.
now, right? And but I think that the realization has become that the activist class that fought for gay marriage legally, that this group of people who's been fighting for this has wanted this result all along. Not most of the regular gay people who are just out there living their lives, right? But the group of activists that pushed this, that brought these cases to the Supreme Court, that did this stuff, like that this group of people, the people who've run the pride parades and everything else, that like this is always what they've wanted. And I think that you're seeing that happen right now, like in Florida, for example, where they were told that they couldn't, have nudity in front of kids, and they canceled the pride parade. Right. So and did you see this, this Colorado House of Representatives person?
Oh yeah, the
So-
guy dressed as a girl.
No, not that.
Oh,
That's
okay.
different.
That's a different crazy thing.
I think that's Montana actually. But this Colorado one, let me send it to you, where in Colorado, they made it a class 6 felony, indecent exposure to minors. And 27 Democrats voted against it, and I just resent you the video of one of the state reps saying that the reason she voted against it is because it targets the transgender community. So, I mean, like, it's a little hard to argue that they're the ones making the argument that this is inherent to the LGBTQIA plus community, right? Like, Florida says, you can't expose yourselves to children, and they're like, well, fine, then we have to cancel the whole pride parade,
Oh, that's
like,
fantastic.
do you know what I mean?
What a story. That's fantastic.
Or this woman
These
in
types
Colorado.
of laws have been used to ban drag shows.
No, just
to
the ones where you
target
expose yourselves to
individuals
children.
Who use the restroom of the sex that they identify with, a public restroom, to charge them with felony charges. I am very concerned about the attacks against the transgender community that are happening across the country.
Can somebody please do a report on these attacks?
I know. Where is this happening?
Well,
Where is this happening? Wasn't there a story recently?
Yeah.
A transgender American was targeted during her sex work.
Yes, the sex work part was
by-
in the 7th paragraph.
And she had previously done an interview, by the way, about how difficult it was interacting with the transphobic black men that she interacted with as a sex worker.
Yeah.
A trans sex worker. I
And
mean,
it's not as if obviously that sex workers have it coming, but the point is it's a little bit of a risky
it's
occupation.
a dangerous line of work.
Especially when you're dealing with drunk men who
May also be involved in other violent criminal activities.
yes, who are surprised to find a penis. Or embarrassed or
Whatever. Yeah.
When I initially read this bill, it did not even come to mind for me either, as an advocate. But as I've looked at the bills and as I've talked to my colleagues who are fighting these types of bills across the country, it's very clear to me that the language is very much mirrored in some of the laws that have been used to target members of our community because of who they are.
See? Laws against indecent exposure to minors target the transgender community. I mean, if that doesn't say the quiet part out loud, like, I don't know what does, right? If you're saying, you're the one saying that's inherent to your movement, not us. It kind of reminds me of like when Massachusetts did the bathroom bill, right? where they said that you could use whatever, because originally the public accommodations law, when they did it, didn't include like bathrooms and locker rooms. And then they did it. And obviously Maura Healey, who's now our governor, got a bunch of press for telling people to hold it if they didn't like it when they went to pass this bathroom version, right? But one of the amendments that the Democrats in Massachusetts voted down, the extremely few Republicans in Massachusetts put forward an amendment to the bill, the bathroom bill, that said that it should exclude sex offenders. Registered sex offenders shouldn't be able to have the right to use whatever bathroom or changing facility they wanted.
Right.
And the Democrats voted that amendment down. So it's like, if you won't even put like basic, simple precaution. So this has been going on for a while in really blue states where the Democrats
advocacy for you if you're part of the LGBTQIA plus trans and groomer community. People are really looking out for you.
Right. The left loves the
Since
sex offender
being
community.
Targeted, you may target others. Just pay it forward. Remarkable.
So, is that it on that?
That's it on that. I wanted to get to Ashley D'Amato, who I've got a personal problem with. She's a girl on TikTok.
She's a Boston lifestyle TikTok influencer.
Right. And
which
wait,
I didn't
she's
know.
Not the one I know she is.
Which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently is a thing.
There's a whole bunch of those.
Maybe you should become a Boston lifestyle.
One of them
TikTok
is trying
influencer.
to peel in on Matt Shearer's on his stuff that he's doing. Mm-hmm. And there's way too many Boston TikTokers. Duncan Kedge, come on, Fitzy. It's like, oh, cut it out with that crap.
So she does get accused in her replies and stuff of, is your dog trying to eat the gravel that spilled out of your bamboo plant earlier?
Oh, is that true?
I don't know. Do dogs eat gravel? Yeah. Anyway, what was I even going to say? Oh, yeah. Apparently, being a Boston TikTok influencer is a thing. This one, Ashley D'Amato, apparently lives in the North End. She gets accused of faking her Boston accent.
Okay, let me play her.
So they did a whole news wrap on her.
Taco shells, chocolate cotton candy.
Right here.
You could put chocolate on rocks and I'd eat it. You know what I mean?
It's really my life, honestly. It's the only thing that's keeping me going.
The Chocolate Expo in Wilmington even had booze-infused chocolate.
Is this the same story? I don't know.
No, they just put in their own TikTok mat in there for instead of Ashley D'Amato.
Is this the one that I sent you?
Yeah, but it's not playing like you want it to. It opens in other windows and stuff. Let me find it.
It worked for me. But
hear that, guys? You hear that?
Well, I don't know.
It worked
One
for
could get the
me.
cuts before the show starts.
Oh no, I see.
It's a TikTok embedded in the news in the article.
You know it. Your wife knows it. Your friends know it.
So we'll listen to the ad.
Authentic? No.
Kitchen-shaped hole in your... Thankfully, Bull you need to create a kitchens and extra fun to your world. Bull BBQ...
Harvard Yard. What do you think? Harvard Yard. Park the car in the Harvard Yard. What do you think? Authentic?
No.
Ashley D'Amato faces her fair share of skeptics when it comes to her Boston accent.
Some people say it's ugly, and some people say it sounds like I have a speech impediment, and then other people are like, oh my god, I love this. So I'm like, what? I don't care.
She's been a full-time lifestyle TikToker for about a year and a half, and she's constantly getting comments from people that don't believe her Eastie accent is real.
This is me. If you don't like me, I can't change the way I talk.
Her fiance is from New Hampshire
You actually
and
can
loves
change
to
the
get
way
a
you
good
talk,
laugh
by the
about
way.
it.
And
It's
I
not
said,
impossible.
oh, you need to get a tie iron. And he was like, hold up, what did you say?
Yeah, she is saying tire iron. She says she doesn't let the negative comments get to her, but it started to make her realize just how thick her accent is. In the North End, Emma Friedman.
Okay, so this is my feeling on this.
Okay.
Inconclusive.
You
at the
didn't
moment.
finish the thing, though.
What thing?
The video.
The reporter was saying goodbye to us.
No, because she talks about how they can't agree on what to name their kids because they pronounce the names too differently. No? That's in the one that I listened to that I sent you.
Okay, here she is.
Hello. Okay, so we are going to New York, the city. What? Okay, let's try this again. So, we are going to New York this weekend to hopefully find my wedding dress. So, let's pack together. We're going to start with the essentials right now because packing
I've known
for
some
24
pretty
hours in New
harsh.
York is 10 times harder than packing for like a week-long vacation in the Caribbean because New England is so bipolar with their wedding. It's
That sounds legit.
oh my god, their weather. New England is bipolar with their weather. It's gonna rain.
That
It
doesn't
would be
sound
like
legit
60
there. She's
all
embellishing.
weekend.
I
so
think
have
she's
no idea what
playing
to
it up a
wear.
little bit.
She's embellishing. Absolutely. Fairly attractive, though, so we'll let
So
it go.
you let her do a fake Boston
do I
accent
like
at you?
filthy,
Do you like
trashy accents or not?
Of course you do.
All right. Okay. Let me see what we've got next on the rundown, Allison.
Okay. Am I allowed to do a story?
Yeah,
or
Doug,
no?
please.
So some debate, by the way, today about the Pledge of Allegiance, among other things. Joyce Carol Oates, the author, tweeted that she's never heard of saying the Pledge of Allegiance in school as a student, and that doesn't happen and only happens in like crazy places in the South and not in mainstream America. She tweeted, in all my years of being in school, so somebody said, what democracies force children to pledge allegiance daily? First of all, nobody's forcing you to pledge allegiance. It's been well established in the courts that you don't have to if you don't want to pledge allegiance. But anyway, Joyce Carol Oates said, in all my years of being in school and a student and a teacher, I've never once witnessed anyone pledging allegiance to a flag. Maybe some schools in the South? Certainly not mainstream America. Sounds like a rerun of Gunsmoke.
What the hell is that? Did you say the pledge in school?
Every day.
Yeah.
Like all through school. I'm pretty sure like Massachusetts has it as a law that like they have to do it. You can't force anyone to do it who doesn't want to, but they like have to do it in the schools every day, don't they?
They always did.
I mean, like, I've never heard of anyone not doing it. I don't understand how you could go your whole life in America and never see the Pledge of Allegiance done in a school because it seems to happen all the time. And then also I saw this story. So, like, I don't know where these liberals live or like what they do, but I mean, like, I grew up in a pretty liberal place, as did you, and we said the Pledge of Allegiance all the time. So I don't know where this is happening, where like they don't say maybe some private schools or something.
Right.
Is that possible? I don't know. But let us know if if you're shocked to hear that in some schools they pledge allegiance every day, because I was astonished to hear somebody say they'd never heard of such a thing. I thought it was like completely normal. Anyway,
so we've got, unfortunately, it's
time for the hot sauce. Well, can I just finish that thought with one
go
more
ahead.
piece that links into this, and then we'll have more stuff in the Patreon
We've got
bonus
a
show.
hell of a lot of stuff.
We have a lot of
and
stuff to get
something
to.
that I'm so thrilled to get to that maybe
Okay, we'll do that in the Patreon.
Oh, that
show.
I'll also do on my radio show tomorrow. So
Okay.
in case you miss it, if you're not a Patreon subscriber, feel free. It'll be podcast tomorrow.
I won't be there, but
you're invited.
well,
Who knows how long I will be there?
okay. Well, anyway, if you want to hear me talk about it, you can sign up for the Patreon, I guess. But anyway, I was going to finish this thought, which is, have you heard of a restaurant called Mission Barbecue?
Sounds familiar. It sounds like it's not in Massachusetts.
I guess it's like a chain, the Mission BBQ. So one of the things they do at Mission BBQ is every day at noon, they play the national anthem. And I guess it's not like required or something, but a lot of the customers will like stand up for the national anthem, as one does for the national.
Yes.
And not everybody does it, but like some people do. So it's like part of their thing. So, but apparently like a bunch of people have just discovered that they do this. And I don't know if they've like never been to a sporting event or what it is, but one customer, a TikToker, was in a Mission Barbecue and took a video of it and said that it was by far the most dangerous situation they've ever been in, that they were shocked and horrified to see this happen. The clip starts off with this TikToker, Paulina, recording her pancakes, and then the interior of the restaurant. She stays seated in front of her meal as other patrons stand up and salute the flag as the Star-Spangled Banners play on the loudspeaker. Her camera pans to TV sets hanging on the walls displaying animated graphics of American flags. A caption for the post reads, "By far the most dangerous situation I've ever been in," followed by hashtag get out, hashtag illegal, hashtag white people things, hashtag.
That's
One
great.
commenter remarked that this isn't a unique experience in the restaurant, blah, blah, blah. And then a bunch of people talk about it. But somebody else agreed they thought it was an uncomfortable situation. Girl, I would be sweating. One commenter couldn't understand why a restaurant would do that. Was it like for a reason, or did it just start playing and randomly and they all got up on a reflex? Wild. So, yeah, but once again, like, have you ever been to like a baseball game or anything? Like, how are you that astonished in a country when they play the national anthem?
Well, because it's going to lead to violence. And you know how many of us are being killed every single day? It's just victim culture. They want to, oh, good, there's another reason I can feel threatened.
It reminds me of was it a New York Times writer who was afraid of all the American flags on Long Island?
Yeah.
Who was scared of them? Like, it's so weird. It's so weird. Who are these people that are like, my God, they're saying the Pledge of Allegiance in the schools. They're playing the national anthem. I don't know where the cube is. You took it last night. Don't put that in your mouth, please.
What's the cube?
The piece of my charger. Don't put the charger in your mouth. Then it's really not going to work. The piece of the charger that plugs into the wall, he took it last night. I wasn't able to charge my phone yesterday either because you took the charger from my room. So I don't know where it is now. But it's where. But you do know because it's wherever you took it. Well,
we'll help you.
Well, go find the charger where you put it because you took it from my room and you put it somewhere. So that's why the phone's at 4%.
This is the headline writing from National Review.
Okay.
Don Lemon met the fate that awaits all newsmen who are obviously past their prime.
Ouch.
That is wonderful.
Taken down by Nikki Haley of all people. Who knew?
I know, isn't that great?
And Vivek Ramaswamy, actually.
Allison,
so
what's the hot
maybe
sauce?
I should take it back about all these nothing presidential candidates.
Yes.
If they could get rid of Don Lemon for us. All right. The hot sauce is Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce. I got a little bit of criticism because I posted my breakfast sandwich the other day and I did not have hot sauce on it. Though, in my defense, the cheese that was on it was super spicy.
Alice is not... Well, you use a little bit of hot sauce now.
I was saying maybe I should have put some of the pineapple hot sauce on it and do like a sweet and spicy thing. Anyway, because Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce does have 2 new flavors. They have the original, which is the spiciest, very full of flavor. Now they've also added to the lineup bourbon and pineapple flavors. Not quite as many Scoville units in those, but still definitely bring the heat and the flavor like you love from Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce. You can find those at Market Basket, at Big Y. You can find them at chelseafirehotsauce.com. They are delicious. Plus, they donate 5% of the proceeds to the Fallen Firefighters Foundation, and they are a certified disability-owned business as well. So, I mean, you're doing lots of good while you shop there, as well as getting to eat really a delicious hot sauce.
All right, here we go, Allison.
I'm ready.
Wait for it.
Hey, Tom and Alice.
Hi.
Hey, Charlie.
Tom, I got to tell you,
yes,
you're against sunglasses.
Correct.
Now you seem to be against cigars for some reason.
Yes.
What's next? Are you against like motorcycles, boats, or are you just completely against fun in general?
He's against boats. I know that.
I'm against I'm against.
You might be against motorcycles too.
I'm against motorcycles. I'm afraid of them. I've never ridden one. My brother put me on the back of his once and went over 100 miles per hour. Here's my problem. And I do think that the guys who are the motorcycles, who are all like dressed like tough guys and like rumble the earth, like the wake up neighborhoods. I think it's a hardo tough guy thing that you're trying to be. Because what's wrong?
What's wrong is he stole my charger. Now he doesn't know where it is,
No,
and he can't charge it.
I think you said he found it.
I think the phone ran out of batteries, as it does when you don't charge it and you lose the charger.
So, but my only problem is this: is that I mean, we know if the motorcycle made how would Joe Biden say had a lisp. Or made it obviously that it was trans. If the motorcycle cheap went, then nobody would want that noise.
People ride Vespas.
It's a tough noise. Not the motorcycle set. Vespas, I got my own problems with those. That set, believe me. But so here's the thing is
But you're right. It would be, if all motorcycles were Vespas, it would be a different group of people using them.
Right. Exactly. So
Why don't you borrow this for a few minutes?
But I have a caveat here. I do have a problem with people who drive motorcycles. I'm not in the bourbon and cigar set too.
Except Chelsea Fire bourbon flavored hot sauce you love, obviously.
Yeah. Yes, within reason. But well, the problem is in all three of those cases, even though it's an affectation, whatever, is that the motorcycle crowd are usually really good people.
Yeah.
And some of the cigar crowd are good people. And a lot of them are good conservatives, too.
A lot of the boat people are. Remember the Trump boat parades?
A lot of the boat people are, too.
But you also don't like boats.
I don't have a problem with people who have boats. I have a problem with people who, when I'm on their boat, which I'm never thrilled to be on, make me crank something and are happy that they know so much more about the boating than I do, so that they use their knowledge of the jib and the winches.
Well, that's like sailboats.
To tack. But yeah, but there are some big ones too. Or like any motorboats, there's a hard guy thing. A dude with sunglasses on a motorboat is somebody who we probably don't have a whole lot to talk about.
They're probably a Trump voter, though.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So yeah, that does it for my problems. And pool players. That was when I was in my 20s. So, but
I don't think that does do it for your problems. I think you have problems with a lot more people
I have
than
problems
that.
with a lot. But I mean, everybody has a problem with a lot. I mean, the sunglass thing, it's fine. If it's your crutch that you want to do, that's fine. I mean, I just use my eyes, which are set.
So it's interesting. So I was at kind of a mom party this weekend, and one of the moms was wearing her sunglasses, and it was very rainy. And she said she wore them because they're prescription.
Well, they make them non-tinted, too. That is not acceptable. That's not acceptable. Was she one of the more attractive moms?
I don't know how to read.
Okay. Enough said.
For some reason. What's next? Are you against like motorcycles, boats, or are you just completely against fun in general?
Yes.
I gotta tell you, I think I'm gonna switch sides. I'm Team Alice all the way now.
There is talk. Oh, you think she's for fun?
I am for fun.
If you like
wholesome fun.
Hours-long chess tournaments, then she's your girl.
I'm for wholesome fun. I like singing around the piano at the family holidays.
15-7.
Hello? Hey, Tom and Alice. I don't know if you saw these ads on Twitter for Stop Jewish Hate, but I understand the marketing and everything behind them, but like the acting and everything, it's just like so hokey. Like there's one where there's a father and son in there, like in the car, and they're seeing these Jewish kids come out of school, I guess, and then the dad's like, "Yeah, you go tell them there Jews what they need to know. Go out there, boy." It's just like, oh my God, it's so hokey, unbelievable. Then there's another one where somebody spray painted like a swastika on the garage of this Jewish family, and then it says something about damn Jews or something on the garage. They painted it the next door neighbor sees it.
Hold on, Justin.
Goes over and
I haven't seen it.
I've got one here. Oh damn! It's one of my 8 Twitters. I mean, which one is it? I just found one. Okay, here we go. Stand up to Jewish hate.
Okay.
There's a kid looking at a TikTok where it says, "My bar mitzvah." In comes the message, Jews are a disease. Nice song, Jew boy. Get your Jewish nose, get any bigger. In come the messages, the anti-Semitic message. Didn't take long for this kid.
Why? Okay. Does that happen a lot on TikTok?
I assume so.
Hey, Isaiah, your prayer really inspired us.
So now there is a group of folks, Black Lives, which is fine. I'm not trying to read. I'm trying to see what's happening here. Oh, okay. So the haters were obviously not black.
Oh, of
the
course not.
support. Oh, they were like Justin was saying. Yeah, the haters were okay. But wait a second here. It says nearly 70% of Jewish Americans faced anti-Semitic hate online last year. Well, first of all, online is a place full of a-holes. Of course.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not surprised at
hatred
all.
towards everybody online.
And I think the anti-Semitic stuff is disgusting.
It's founded by Robert Kraft, by the way.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. We love him.
This organization, apparently.
But I don't think we should be using online messages where you are essentially, not even essentially, you are definitely anonymous, which is a pit of snakes, for anything. For anything.
Right. It doesn't mean
People are
anything.
just
The
bleep
stuff
talkers.
online is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you found that, Justin. No, I appreciate that. And also, if you're somebody who's...
And I don't think we mind Robert Kraft, generally.
we like
speaking.
Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have really any issue with him, I don't think.
Not really. I like that his like girlfriends are 50 years younger. It's like it's so powerful because we've talked about this before. We'll save it for the thing.
Patreon show.
Patreon. Replica Shattuck.
I'm a little conflicted here, Tom, because I've been giving a little bit of thought, and I think I've come around to your thinking that I agree the Big Mac sauce only belongs on the Big Mac burger. I actually had one yesterday just to confirm it.
It's a special combination of flavors.
Yes.
I was speaking about it with someone else because the conflict was back in like the late 90s or the early 2000s, McDonald's had a little gem called the Arch Deluxe, and it had its own special sauce.
I remember the Arch Deluxe. I don't know that I ever got one or knew much about
I don't think I know about it.
And then they came out with a thing where you could get 2 quarter pounders for $2.
We like that.
So I would go in and say, I will take 2 quarter pounders, please, and can you please put Arch Deluxe sauce on it? So I kind of violated what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you held up the line.
But the Arch Deluxe is no more, so
He
that doesn't really
could have been a
matter.
TikTok influencer replica.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, but I don't like cross-pollination.
And of course, Replica is referencing, we talked about the Big Mac sauce, if you're wondering, on our new podcast, which you should all go subscribe to and listen to.
You find it more genteel way to try to solicit
What do you mean, what's
subscribers?
genteel?
You should all do it.
You should do it. It's really good.
Well, ask them nicely to do it.
Please, please listen to our poor little podcast. We really need you.
I find that the listeners... I like a conceited Lexington Yacht Bunny attitude and the cruelty I like and the
Not
elitism.
cruel. I'm very nice.
But I think they like the sweeter, more intellectual version.
Okay. We really hope you listen to our new podcast. It's
So
really fun
patronizing.
making it, and you guys are really so nice
Funny,
to
it's
listen,
so obvious
and
that
all
you
the
have-
great
it's so
reviews
obvious
and ratings.
the way you know who you are.
I don't know
You're
how to
Dylan
talk about it.
Mulvaney to.
I haven't even
You're
gotten to say the name of the show yet.
You're the Dylan Mulvaney of decent sweet girls. You
I-
so hate them.
I haven't even gotten to
Go
say
ahead.
the name of
Say
the
the name
show
of the
yet.
show.
It is called the All You Can Eat Podcast. It is available on Apple Podcasts and wherever you like to listen to
Pulls the
podcasts.
Corinne Jean-Pierre
Currently
opens
rated-
the Trapper Keeper to find the name of her own podcast.
No, I'm looking to see if there's any good reviews that I should read out loud. Oh, here we go.
All anti-Semitic
As a regular
comments,
listener,
sadly.
5 stars. As a regular listener of the great Tom Shattuck Burn Barrel podcast, I thought I would give this a listen. The best compliment I think I can add is that this is like a conversation with friends hanging out at your kitchen table. It's fun, funny, and you find yourself thinking, oh yeah, or I remember that. Tom is funny, and as the saying goes, I came for Tom, but stayed for Alice.
Who the
Listen to this and his other show for a couple of episodes. You will find out just what I mean. Already hit subscribe and off to episode 2. My only wish is that these were 60 minutes.
Let me guess. Inner Circle. This is Inner Circle. What's the name on this one?
I do know who this is. AHJ60. But I'll tell you later. But great review. Thank you so much
Huh.
for reviewing it and rating it,
Is
guys.
Jay a French Canadian name?
No, it's just AHJ, the initials.
Okay.
I don't think it's a French Canadian.
Okay.
Why would it be a French Canadian?
Because I know a lot of J's.
I don't know. Anyway, the person's name isn't Jay, but whatever.
Thank you very much, AHJ.
Thank
That's
you
so-
for the
so
great
nice.
review.
My
There's
goodness.
some great reviews on there. There's 3 episodes out now. I haven't socialed the 3rd episode yet. I'll have to do that.
Social the 3rd episode.
I know.
Did I do it?
Super. No, you just put it up. But
So we didn't do it Friday when there was.
well, the episode came out. Those of you who are already subscribed, I'm sure have already listened to it because it just auto-downloaded right into your queue. So I hope you loved it.
There's far less sex in that one, although I'll try to wedge it in.
Tom talks about his spinach juice or something that
It's
he
dust,
has.
my
Dust,
friend.
Dust.
Spinach
Well,
juice.
you make it into juice. Spinach juice. I don't know.
There you go. Tom talks about his spinach juice or something from his little diet.
So anyway, but you should go listen to that. And please go listen.
Why don't you save this for the closing credits?
Okay.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
After listening to your foot powder story, it's
Yeah.
a wonder that you have 5 offspring given to you by Alice. Please, dude, you got to self-censor sometimes. Love the show. Thanks again, man, for making me laugh.
That was a great message.
Our house currently, I asked Tom yesterday if there's like anywhere in the house that's not covered in white foot powder, and he said no.
Gotta do it.
Because I got one of the clean towels out of the pile of clean towels, and when I set it down, there was a pop of foot powder that came out of it. So that's my life now, is Tom's foot powder.
It's wintergreen fresh around here if you guys ever come over.
Thank you so much for listening. I love all you guys and appreciate you so much. Thanks for listening to this show. Obviously, if you want to join us for the Patreon bonus show, that's at patreon.com/burnbarrel. You can also catch the live streams there. As I was mentioning, there's also now the All You Can Eat podcast. You can find it everywhere you listen to podcasts. The Twitter is all letter U can eat. But yeah, check it out. Love you guys. Have a great day.
C'est la vie.